Sahyokyung was ambitious. Like all men, he dreamed of reigning under the heavens. After all, he dreamed of living once, the pinnacle of Gyeongju. However, contrary to his ambition, reality was harsh. In Gyeongju, the two factions, 3 clans, 3 packs, and 3 manors were firmly established, and the 3 saints were walking around. There was no place for the 7 stars to intervene. Although they managed to establish themselves in Hunan and gain fame, the limitations of the 7 stars were clear. Each member of the 7 stars was clearly a master, but they did not reach the level where they could command Gyeongju. Although Sahyokyung possessed the force that overwhelms the other 6, he was not unique enough like the 3 saints. He did not possess great leadership, nor did he have strong financial power. Due to such limitations, the 7 stars, despite its fame, was unable to rally enough forces. So they had no choice but to become a small elite group. Sahyokyung was always dissatisfied with that. But since reality was cruel, he had no choice but to wait patiently for an opportunity. And a great opportunity came. If they can catch Nam Shinwoo and take him to their client, they can receive enormous financial benefits through tangible and intangible support. It was the opportunity that Sahyokyung had longed for. So they had to catch Nam Shinwoo. Drive him to the slums in the north. If you miss him this time, everyone will die at my hands. Sahyokyung opened his eyes as he gave orders to his younger brothers. He's already hurt. He won't be able to go far. As Cho Samchik spoke in high spirits, Sahyokyung's face was wrinkled like a piece of paper. You mean you still missed him while he was hurt? Who knew that blacksmith could bite so hard? HMP. Blacksmith? Yeah. That little bastard was hiding in a workshop. Really? Why is the little guy hiding in a studio? It's just a coincidence, right? We don't have to worry how he got there. I'm sure you finished it well so that there won't be a problem, right? Don't worry. There will be no problem. Although Cho Samchik's answer was unreliable, Sahyokyung didn't care anymore. Now was the time to focus on catching Nam Shinwoo. Even though he was seriously injured, Nam Shinwoo was avoiding the chase of the 7 stars like a mouse. TSK. Had I been able to get help from the Hao clan, I would have caught him right away. Sahyokyung clicked his tongue. If it had been in Hunan, the courtyard of the 7 stars, he would have done the work without paying attention to this or that. There, he had the confidence to solve any kind of problem. But this place was Sichuan. They had no connection here, so even if there was a problem, there was no one who could help them fix it. Sichuan has been recognized as a place with the highest vigilance against outsiders. In fact, there was no room for outsiders to enter because it had its own system. Because of that, the 7 stars felt a huge burden as they continued to stay here for a long time. I have to catch the target and get out of here. I don't know what kind of dung fly will come and sniff us if we stay here too long. However, as expected, Nam Shinwoo was not easily caught. Nam Shinwoo avoided the pursuit of the 7 stars with his almost beast-like instinct. The 7 stars was having a hard time because he exhibited a sense of almost foreknowledge and exquisitely used the maze-like structure of the slums. Yo Suliang brushed her messy hair up and muttered, "Oh, I'm so annoyed. What is this? I'm out of shape." Her clothes were stained here and there in pursuit of Nam Shinwoo, and there were beads of sweat on her forehead. What bothered her the most was the stench peculiar to the slum. Yo Suliang's eyes were filled with killing intent. "You rat. Don't you dare get caught. Because this sister won't let you go." She raised her internal energy and expanded her senses. Her current location was in a slum on the outskirts of Chengdu. Due to the unique and cave-like structure of the slum, it was difficult to detect Nam Shinwoo in a normal way. It was also impossible to ask for cooperation from those living in the slums. It's because people who live in poverty have a strong sense of vigilance. Yo Suliang's spirit became stronger. But when her senses were spread out, too many movements were caught, making it only as a hindrance. Ah! So annoying. It was when Yo Suliang started to walk while grumbling. Suddenly, several men stood in front of her. They had dirty faces and horrible smells because they haven't washed their clothes for several days. They were the men living in the slums. He he he. What brings such a pretty lady to such a shabby place? Why? Are you doing this to comfort the poor? The men's eyes looking at Yo Suliang were full of desire. Yo Suliang knew very well what those eyes meant. My little girl is like this, so everything like stardust is twisted. Since this older sister is now Barb, it would be better to turn it off. Ah. I'm so scared. Is it okay to say something like that with such a pretty face? These elders should teach you a lesson. The men in the slums talked without knowing the subject. Their eyes were obsessively scanning the voluptuous body of Yo Suliang. It was almost impossible to see a woman with the same beauty as Yo Suliang in a slum. This is because some people do not even dare approach the slums at all. If it had been somewhere other than the slums, the men would not have even been able to even approach Yo Suliang, but this was a slum. Even if a woman goes missing, no one would know. Although Yo Suliang's arrogant attitude bothered them, the men who were already blinded by desire did not have time to think deeply about this or that. They're already at their lowest point of their life anyway, so there's nothing for them to be afraid of. He he he. Pretty Mississippi. Please do us a favor. You look very soft. If you swallow it in one go, it won't smell fishy. The men approached Yo Suliang while talking dirty. Yo Suliang made a surprised expression. She really didn't know that she would be treated like this in this distant location, such as Sichuan. Her face flushed red. Her appearance made men's bodies even hotter. Heh heh. It's already getting hot. I'm already hard. Let's burn it up even more. The men's words ignited. Let's burn it up? All right. I'll burn everyone. A beam of light exploded from Yo Suliang's eyes. For a moment, the men flinched. It was then that they realized that Yo Suliang was no ordinary person. There was no way that an ordinary woman would enter the slum alone without fear, but they realized it too late. Quack. When Yo Suliang swung her hand, a red airstream rose and attacked the men. The red airstream turned into flames when it touched the men's bodies. Whack. Karyak. Saw, save me. The men rolled around on the floor, frantically trying to extinguish the fire. However, the fire on their bodies was not natural, but the fire of hell, created by Yo Suliang. Once attached to the body, it will never stop burning until everything is all burnt. Without knowing this, the men rolled around to put out the fire. The nearby houses were also soon set on fire. The wooden house quickly burned, and the flames quickly spread throughout the slum. Ho ho! Seeing the scene, Yo Suliang burst out in giggles. The scene in front of her was the reason she was given the terrible nickname of Bloody Witch. The witch who loved and controlled blood and fire was Yo Suliang. The flames she created spread, burning the entire slum. You rat! If you don't want to burn to death, you'd also better jump out of the way. Ho ho ho! Yo Suliang looked at the fast-spreading fire and smiled eerily. Fire, arg! Help me! Oh no, my house is on fire! The poor were stunned by the flames that quickly engulfed the streets. The fire was so strong and it spread so quickly that it was impossible to put it out. There were a few buckets of water, but even if they poured them on the fire, it wouldn't be extinguished. The wrath caused by the desires of some men was immense. They had already vanished into ashes, but the devastation they brought engulfed the entire slum. Oh my God! How am I going to live now? Seeing the house engulfed in fire, the poor despaired. Women and children sat down on the street, weeping, and the men watched the flames in disbelief. Ho ho ho! Come out already, kid! Yo Suliang thought that Nam Xinwu would come out soon. However, Nam Xinwu was nowhere to be seen. What? Are you out of this place already? I don't think so. Yo Suliang looked at the slum engulfed in flames with a frown on her forehead. Thousands of people were out on the street, but she couldn't even see a child similar to Nam Xinwu. Shit. Is he not here? Yo Suliang turned around and pursed her lips. She was so calm that many would find it hard to believe that she was the person responsible for the current disaster in the slums. Sister Yo. At that time a warrior with a sword around his waist came running calling for Yo Suliang. The man whose face resembles a wolf with his protruding face and nose was Jie Wungpyong, the fourth member of 7 Stars. Fourth brother. What are you doing here? I'm looking for that bastard. That bastard has already left Chengdu. What? The youngest is already chasing after him, so we need to join them soon. Oh my. Have I just been fooling around? Yo Suliang made an absurd expression on her face. Jie Wungpyong clicked his tongue when he Yo Suliang like that. TSK. How can you make a mistake like that all the time? That's a talent I say. Ho ho ho. Jie Wungpyong frowned as he looked around the slums engulfed in flames. Then why did you set Chengdu on fire? What will you do if the sect members of Chengdu come running at this rate? Ho ho. They won't come. Because of him, they're withering away and refraining from doing any outside activities. Him? Pyawul. Everyone would shake whenever his name was mentioned, as if they would be severely punished. This is why their reaction to the fire will also be late, because everyone is busy saving themselves. So by the time they arrive, we will already be gone. Ho ho ho. Hugh. Do you really believe that? The rumors must have been an exaggeration. Because of one person, all the warriors of Chengdu are wary? I can't believe it. Then what if you run into him? At that time, I will cut off his head with this bloody sword. He will not even respond and will sacrifice his life for me. Jie Wungpyong said while tapping the weapon hung around his waist. At his arrogant words, Yo Suliang wrinkled the tip of her nose slightly. Although his arrogance was annoying, Jie Wungpyong really deserved to act like so. In terms of the destructive power of one's martial arts, Jie Wungpyong was among the top 3 in the 7 Stars. His only flaw was that he would often suffer a lot of damage due to his hasty judgments caused by his madness and irrationality, but other than that he is a pretty reliable teammate. I'll look forward to you cutting off his neck. I promise. I'll bring it to you first once I cut his throat. Ho ho ho. Yo Suliang broke into laughter. Her figure, which was dyed red because of the full-fledged fire, looked even more bewitching. A voluptuous chest, a slender waist that looked like it could only be a handful, and slim legs were enough to shake Jie Wungpyong's heart. Jie Wungpyong looked at Yo Suliang's whole body with eyes full of desire. Yo Suliang knew his gaze. Not only Jie Wungpyong, but all the other members of the 7 Stars looked at her with lustful eyes. Unlike a normal woman who would have found such gazes terrifying, Yo Suliang rather enjoyed the attention. Go. Yo Suliang said as she passed by Jie Wungpyong. Her voluptuous hips swayed bewitchingly below her slender waist. At the same time, Jie Wungpyong's eyes fluttered left and right. Yo Suliang raised the corners of her lips more enchantingly at Jie Wungpyong's gaze behind her back. 1 step, 2 steps, she walked lightly like a butterfly. Then Yo Suliang frowned. Something was strange. By now, Jie Wungpyong would have rushed to her side and stuck next to her. But she didn't feel any of his movement. What are you doing? Why aren't you coming? Why are you being late for? If you don't come, I'll leave you. Still, there was no answer. Yo Suliang looked back nervously. What's wrong? Until when are? Yo Suliang opened her eyes wide and could not speak. Under a large burning tree, Jie Wungpyong's figure was floating in the air and swaying from side to side. His large opened eyes were red and bloodshot, and his tongue, which was protruding from his lips, had turned blue. What? Goosebumps ran up along Yo Suliang's spine. A thin thread that was difficult to distinguish with the naked eye was digging into Jae Woong Pyong's neck. Fourth brother. Yo Sulyong's desperate voice echoed in the slum that was engulfed in fire.